Prepare to get gas because it's time for the Week in Gear. This week, Mesa Boogie resurrects a holy grail amp, Charvel gives Angel Vivaldi a surprising shred machine, and Fender drops a custom shop Strat that might actually break me. This episode is sponsored by THOMANN's Summer Sale. More about that in a little bit. Now, let's kick off this week's top 5 most exciting gear drops with a limited reissue that metal fans have been waiting decades for. Mesa's most mythical amp returns. The legendary Mark II C++. And the marketing machine has gone wild. The Mark II C++, also known as the Crunchberries amp, the amp Metallica made famous, is back and is being built as an official production model for the first time. But here's the catch. Only 200 of these are being made in 2025, which is actually around 10 times the amount of original models estimated to exist. You get 75 watts of all-tube firepower, that classic 5-band graphic EQ, and that signature crunch that's tight, aggressive, and surprisingly articulate. This is built just like the originals and apparently by the same people, but hopefully these come with updated reliability. Now, this isn't just a collector's piece, it's for players who want that iconic tone with modern stability, metal, prog, what's the other one? Fusion, you name it. Please, because I can't. So what actually makes the Mark II C++ different from the standard Mark II C++, which, by the way, also got a reissue last year? Well, that extra plus isn't just for show. It means more gain, a tighter low end, and an overall more aggressive feel. Visually, it looks almost identical to the 2C+, aside from a little badge on the grille. But once you hit the lead mode, it's apparently a different beast. You get more saturation in the preamp, thicker lows, and this chewy, harmonic-rich response that apparently, I keep saying apparently, it's because I don't know, but I've done a research. I've done a research. Yes, that's what I've done. I've done a research, and this stuff apparently isn't there in the standard version. Clean mode stays untouched. Still classic Mesa sparkle, but the lead is where that plus magic lives. There's something about an Ed Sheeran plus joke in there somewhere about being a signature amp, but you can figure it out yourselves. The first Mark II C++ was born out of a request from Vivian Campbell in the mid-1980s, and this version was born out of Gibson's desire to make money. This version was born out of Gibson wanting to put this super rare custom amp head within reach of regular players for the first time in its history. And when I say regular players, I don't actually mean regular players, of course. If you can find one, the Mesa Boogie Mark II C++ will set you back between 3,500 notes and 4,500 notes, depending on where you live. Master of puppets, that's a lot of money. I doubt it comes with downpicking lessons though. I got no more on this. On the one hand, they're going to be very happy Metallica fans out there somewhere. On the other hand, most of these amps are going to get dusty sitting there doing nothing. Back on this hand, why do I want one? And then on that hand, I already checked some of the links and they're already sold out. There are links down below where they're not sold out at the time of filming. I do have a love for Boogie amps, and I know that they don't come cheap. For me, personally, I would love to try this amp, but I wouldn't buy it. It's a clear borrow it on the gasometer. At number 4, Angel Vivaldi's new Nova 7 is not what I expected, and that is kind of the point. Angel is a guy known for classy playing, classy tone, classy style, and usually classy guitars, but this one, it's like he walked into a boutique woodworking shop and said, make me something that shreds tastefully. Instead of neon or sparkles or alien fret markers, we get a natural flame maple top that looks like it was stolen from a king's luxury cutting board. We get a roasted maple neck, a 12 to 16 inch fretboard radius on a maple fretboard, oh, and gold hardware that says, yes, I sweep the pick, but I do it with class. Under the hood, It's still a shredder's machine, but with surprising finesse. It rocks a caramelized basswood, basswood, dinky body, and electronics-wise, it's a bridge-mounted Damasio Tone Zone 7 and a neck Air Norton 7. Those are pickups. It's also got a recessed custom Goto 7-string double locking bridge, locking tuners, and a reverse Strat headstock to finish off the performance hardware. When I first saw this guitar, I'll be honest, it didn't really move me. I thought, another plain finish, but then I was watching the official release video where Angel talks about the guitar and he plays it so tastefully, and there's a part where just as I had this moment of realization, Angel took the words right out of my mouth and said that the more that you look at this guitar, the more you realize how beautiful it is. And that's so true. There's this red binding that is just the perfect shade to bring everything together. First, it looks like it's a guitar that forgot to have a paint job, but now, well, that's how I feel about most natural finishes, that they just got bored and said, that'll do. But this one is so aesthetically pleasing. In short, it's refined and it's fierce. This doesn't feel like a flashy signature guitar. This is a high-performance machine with stylish subtlety. It is refreshing to see a signature guitar that doesn't scream for attention and grab you by the throat visually, but still delivers a full technical arsenal. Angel fans will obviously dig it, but this one could easily tempt any player who wants high-end specs without looking like they just walked out of a Guitar Hero boss fight. Let's talk prices. You're looking at between 1,500 notes and 2,000 notes, depending on where you live. And yet again, that is a lot of money, but it does seem fair for a guitar of this caliber. Being a 7-string, it really narrows down the number of people that will be interested in it, which is why the G.A.S-ometer is having problems with this one. If I was looking for a 7-string that I could take on stage and not be the center of attention, then this would be a serious buy it now. And we'll leave it there. Well done, Angel. Well done, Charvel. It's quite an expensive week, isn't it? Let's have a break from expensive things and talk about things that are not expensive in this week's sponsor slot from THOMANN's summer sale. THOMANN have a summer sale where you can save up to 70% on guitars, amps, pedals, and more. Have you got about 30 quid? You can get yourself a Joyo flanger. That's 32% off. If you have enough guitars and pedals and amps, why not get the drum software that I use in my tracks? I have the original of these and I'm obsessed with it at the moment. In fact, I've got it just here. I don't know if the new ones are any good, but it's 10% off at the moment. If you need an audio interface, the Positive Grid Riff is 27% off. If you want to check out the whole list of items on sale, have a look at the link in the video description, which will send you right to the page that you need. And a little tip, you can sort by categories, and I'm going to go for electric guitars, acoustic guitars, and electric guitar amps and guitar and bass effects. Click that, and then you can sort that by low to high product, giving you the best savings. The sale ends on July 22nd, so get there now, and a big thank you to THOMANN for sponsoring the Week in Gear. Now on with the show! Martin have just released a bunch of new acoustic guitars with some lower priced models and some higher priced models, and they seem pretty standard for acoustics, although the caramel sort of coloured ones are absolutely beautiful and the specs are great. But it is clear that someone at Martin has been taking some bold design vitamin pills lately, because one model that grabs my eye straight away strays very, very far outside their usual lane. Get ready for it, the SC10E Spruce, a guitar that looks like someone dared Martin to design something that would confuse a traditionalist. Yeah, it's odd. The body shape is not new to Martin, but it is new to me. I'd never seen this SC body shape before. And let's just say that this would cause a minor panic at your local bluegrass jam. It's so confusing at first. Sit with it for a while. Promise you. It's got an offset body which is almost as big as a dreadnought, a deep asymmetrical cutaway for the high fret access, and Martin's Sure Align neck joint, which, brace yourself, that's an acoustic joke, looks like a bolt-on neck, but it isn't. It's a linear dovetail neck joint. See? I mentioned Martin and bolt-on necks in the same sentence, and the sky didn't fall. This guitar has a spruce top, solid sapele back and sides, and their E1 electronic system with that fantastic built-in tuner that's aimed at the player and volume and tone controls. The neck profile is called low profile velocity, which sounds like a cycling term, but basically it means it's slim, fast, and incredibly comfortable, especially for players used to electric guitars. See? Now I've got your attention. The SC10E Spruce is part of the Rhodes series, which is Martin's range of guitars aimed at players who are out there playing and need something reliable and playable rather than coveted and super expensive for the studio. For me, the SC series is kind of like what Fender's doing with the Acoustasonic, but Martin have only gone one step away from the traditional steel string acoustic. It's the kind of guitar that plays like an electric, sounds hopefully like a Martin, but looks like it's time traveled from a future where folk players use loopers and MIDI rigs. And I'm both scared and excited by that concept. I know the looks are going to split the room with a lot on one side, but when you look into what this guitar's designed to do, it does all make sense. And the best part, well, that is the best part. It clocks in at around 1,500 notes. Now that is not nothing. I'm not saying it's cheap, but it is incredibly fair for a workhorse acoustic that you can hang at open mics and small stages without breaking a sweat and have Martin written on the headstock. I am aware there are far cheaper acoustics out there that will do absolutely fine on stage, but some people want Martin written up there. What is really clear is that Martin are trying to expand the definition of what a Martin guitar can be, and if this is the direction that things are heading, I'm not mad about it at all. The gasometer goes, well, straight up to buy it now if you're looking for a stage-ready acoustic with Martin on the headstock. Now, I used to have a Boss RT20, and don't get me started on how it ate half of my pedal board, but Boss have just dropped the RT2, and it's like they finally said, all right, compact pedal, big amp vibes. Here you go. This thing is pretty loaded for a compact pedal. It's Boss compact pedal in size, but it brings full stereo rotary speaker mayhem. You get 3 voice modes. Mode 1 offers the vintage Leslie rotary tone. Mode 2 ups the spatial game for wider tonal depth, especially when paired with drive and distortion pedals. And Mode 3 is all-out modulation frenzy for, I don't know, solos and ambient textures. It's the crazy setting. On top of that, there's a virtual rotary display, like a tiny spaceship dashboard, that lights up to show treble and bass rotor speeds. And I'll be honest, that's one of the main reasons I love the pedal. I shouldn't. I wouldn't like it if the pedal was rubbish, but that's a big cherry on top for me. You get dedicated slow/fast knobs, a rise-fall time switch for smooth transitions, and a drive knob to dial in tube-style saturation. That knob even doubles as a drive/balance control, letting you shift the mix between horn and drum rotors without even getting up from your chair. Do you want even more control over your RT2? Well, you can do that. You can add external foot switches or an expression pedal to control parameters on the fly, including a brake mode, which sounds fun. It's got true mono stereo input and output with 2 stereo modes, standard or individual wet dry, so it plays nicely with keyboards too, and yes, it even comes with the full 5-year Boss warranty, because they're betting on you playing it for years, or a couple of weeks and sticking it on reverb, because that's where generally rotary pedals come in. You either use it all the time, or you come to learn that one song is not enough for one pedal. Sadly, the Univibe setting from the RT20 is missing, which leads me to think that maybe Boss have a dedicated Univibe pedal on the way? The Boss RT2 is going to set you back around 250 notes, which is a lot if you only want the occasional rotary sound. But if this is integral to your tone, this is going to be a lot easier than lugging around an old RT20 or an actual Leslie speaker. The gasometer is hitting add to cart. I would really need to play it to know if this is the ROTARY pedal for me. I suspect it might be.
Andy's Pick of the Week!
Yes, my pick of the week is a Strat from Fender. Fender Custom Shop have worked with Ariel Posen to bring us the Ariel Posen Stratocaster, and I'm going to upset some people with this section of the video. Here I go. On the one hand, it's just another Strat. On the other hand, it's from the Fender Custom Shop. Back to this hand, it's super expensive, but let's take a look at this over here. It's so beautiful. It deserves a full screen 5 seconds.
It's so beautiful, it deserves a full screen 5 seconds.
Now this isn't your run-of-the-mill Strat. It is a faded Lake Placid blue relic finish on 2-piece select roasted alder, giving it a sort of mid-60s vibe. Classic, but with character that you've paid for. The neck is quarter-sawn 2A flame maple in a 1969 U profile. Whew. Topped with a 9.5-inch rosewood fingerboard and 21 G.A.S vintage frets. Being a Strat, it has a 25.5-inch scale with a bone nut. This is opulence near its finest. I'm obviously missing the big elephant in the room. There is the custom AP90 pickups. This is visually the biggest difference between this guitar and a normal Strat, and possibly sonically too. The neck AP90 is designed to capture a more Jazzmaster style tone, and the bridge AP90 is aimed at a more sort of soap bar P90 bridge tone, and I am all for this. All of those things are wired to a master volume and tone setup with a 3-way toggle that keeps things intuitive but far from a standard Strat. As for the hardware, you've got a 6-saddle hardtail Strat bridge, vintage star tuners, and cupcake knobs, brown ones, to match the pickups. It also comes loaded with extras like a moody leather Ariel Posen strap, a brass rock slide, signature picks, and of course the deluxe hard case. No time for flimsy gig bags here. I know it's just a Strat. I know. But it's like a Strat style comfort meets Jazzmaster soul and with some Gibson Les Paul simplicity thrown in there, in a package that feels quite personal to Ariel. Sorry, Ariel. I'm trying to say it feels finished. It's not like a prototype that they're sort of trying things out with, and it looks a lot like his, is it the Mule Resonator, Rezo Strat that he's played before? In fact, it looks a lot like that. 2 bits of bad news. Number 1, it's super expensive. Number 2, it is limited to only 100 pieces. So they are going to be for the very few. It doesn't stop me from loving it from afar and admiring it like a kid with his nose pressed up against a sweet shop window. How expensive is it, Andy? Well, calm down and let me tell you. You won't get much change out of 6,000 to 7,000 notes. It's pretty crazy. In fact, it's somewhere between pretty crazy to insane. But wow, what a guitar. Please feel free to leave your comments of disgust and desire in the comments section. I'm ready for them. Now, thank you to the wonderful people that support the show on Patreon. Their names are on screen right now. Hello everybody, thanks for being on Patreon. And hello and thank you to the people that support the show right here on YouTube. Hi, how you doing? Glad you clicked that button, thank you. Now, if you want to have your name up on the screen in a future episode of Twig, click the join button right here on YouTube or visit the Patreon link in the video description, and you could even get a special thanks if you become a top tier member. Alinta, Buddha Blue, Boom Shakalaka, Puzzle, Dirk, Doug Paget, Hugh G. Rection, Jindrik Strelke, Hugh G. Rection, E. Rection, Erection, I get the joke. Jindrik Strelke, Johnny McBadminton, Mike Lute, Andrew Morgan, Gary O'Neill, Josh Tamberg, Man Dude Bro, PQ Deads, Robin Kelly, Sarang Narayan and Southern Panda 33. Thank you, top tier members. I appreciate you. Now, click that subscribe button and stay humble. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye! It's clear that someone at Martin has been taking some bold design vitamin pills recently.